Who poisoned Sarah? A mystery with a sinister message on days of our lives. On days of our lives, danger often lurks where you least expect it, and this week, it strikes in the most shocking of places, a public barbecue. What should have been a cheerful and ordinary moment takes a horrifying turn, leaving Salem reeling and one woman's life hanging in the balance. The question on everyone's mind is a chilling one: who poisoned Sarah Horton, and why? Let's dive deep into the week of May 5th to 9th, where secrets boil over, alliances are tested, and a silent warning may have been delivered in the deadliest way possible. A barbecue turns into a nightmare. The scene begins innocently enough. Xander Kyriakis and Sarah Horton, once again cautiously navigating their complicated relationship, are seen enjoying what appears to be a community barbecue in the town square. There are smiles, light laughter, and the smell of grilled food in the air. But underneath the calm surface, the embers of jealousy, resentment, and revenge are smoldering. As Sarah takes a bite of her plate, her face changes. She winces. Then, with visible discomfort, she mutters something to Xander, something about how the food tastes different. Moments later, she begins coughing violently, her throat closing, her body reacting in a sudden and terrifying way. The bustling square quickly descends into chaos. Xander, stricken with panic, yells for someone to call 911. Paramedics arrive swiftly, but Sarah's condition is already deteriorating fast. She's whisked away to the hospital, unconscious, leaving behind a stunned and deeply shaken Xander. But what caused Sarah's collapse? Could it be an allergic reaction? Possibly. But given the town's history with foul play, there's another possibility that quickly becomes far more likely: poison. Was it an accident or something more sinister? At first glance, it's tempting to believe this might just be a case of food gone wrong. Maybe a bad batch of spices or a cross-contamination issue. But as the investigation unfolds, a pattern begins to emerge that points to something far more deliberate. Sarah's symptoms were sudden and severe, much more aligned with the effects of a fast-acting toxin than a mild allergy. And considering how careful Sarah usually is with her food and health, the odds of her simply ingesting something dangerous by accident are slim to none. Then there's the food itself. Sarah only started showing signs of illness after taking a bite of the barbecue that Xander had prepared. Or rather, that had been served to her by someone else, someone with the opportunity to tamper with it before it ever reached her plate. And that's where suspicions begin to fall on a man who's been keeping a low profile in recent weeks, but who has more motive than most: Phillip Kyriakis. Could Phillip be behind it? Phillip Kyriakis has always been a man of many layers. Charming on the surface, he harbors a fierce and often dangerous streak when it comes to matters of the heart and family. And in recent months, he's been on increasingly unstable ground, both personally and professionally. Phillip has a long and bitter history with Xander. Their rivalry isn't just about business or ego, it's deeply personal. The two have clashed over control of Titan Industries, over relationships, and more recently, over respect. Xander, never one to tread lightly, has made it clear he sees Phillip as a threat to be dealt with. Rumors have even circulated that Xander is on the verge of firing Phillip from his position at Titan, a move that would humiliate and disempower him. So what does a Kyriakis man do when backed into a corner? He sends a message. A poisoned warning: fire me and you'll regret it. Here's where things take a darker turn. What if Phillip didn't mean to kill Sarah, but merely to scare Xander? To make him feel vulnerable. To remind him that firing Phillip could have consequences far beyond the boardroom? By targeting Sarah, someone Xander loves deeply, Phillip could deliver a warning that was as personal as it was brutal. He wouldn't need to admit anything. He wouldn't need to gloat or taunt. The message would be loud and clear: if you come after me, I will hit back where it hurts the most. Poisoning Sarah, even subtly, accomplishes several things for Phillip. It puts Xander into a position of emotional chaos, weakening him and making him more erratic, easier to manipulate. It creates fear, not just for Sarah's life, but for what else Phillip might be capable of doing if pushed further. It reclaims power. Without a single confrontation. A silent attack is harder to prove, but devastatingly effective. And consider the timing. Sarah's medical episode happens just days before rumors swirl that Xander plans to restructure Titan's leadership. A coincidence? Highly unlikely. The emotional fallout. Xander is beside himself with worry. Sitting in the hospital waiting room, he runs through every possible cause in his mind. Was it something he did? Something he missed? Could he have protected her somehow? As doctors work to stabilize Sarah and uncover what exactly was in her system, Xander begins to suspect the unthinkable. The idea that someone would poison Sarah to get to him isn't just paranoid, it fits the facts. And as his mind turns to the enemies he's made, one name keeps rising to the surface: Phillip. Xander knows Phillip has the resources, the cunning, and the bitterness to do something like this. But how can he prove it? And more importantly, what will he do about it? What's next? If Sarah survives, and day's spoilers suggest she will, there will be consequences. Xander isn't the type to let an attack on the woman he loves go unanswered. And if he finds evidence that Phillip is behind the poisoning, all bets are off. Phillip may have intended this as a warning, a power play to keep his job and assert control. But he may have underestimated just how much Xander is willing to fight back when his family is threatened. As Salem braces for the fallout, one thing is certain. This is far from over. Poison has been introduced into the heart of the Kyriakis family, not just in Sarah's bloodstream, but into the very fabric of trust, loyalty, and love. And poison, once it seeps in, is rarely content to stay in one place. Phillip's deadly bargain: give up Titan or watch Sarah die in the twisted world of days of our lives. Power, love, and revenge often collide in the most dangerous ways. But this week, fans are witnessing a shocking escalation that could change the legacy of the Kyriakis family forever. At the center of it all is a deadly ultimatum: Phillip Kyriakis has poisoned Sarah Horton, and the only way to save her is for Xander to surrender his claim to the Titan Empire. It's not just business anymore. It's war. A poison threat. The drama begins when Sarah Horton suddenly collapses after a seemingly harmless bite of food. What looks like an allergic reaction quickly turns into a full-blown medical emergency. Paramedics rush her to the hospital, where doctors scramble to identify the cause, but traditional treatments fail to stop her worsening symptoms. The diagnosis is grim: Sarah has been poisoned, and unless she receives a specific antidote soon, her chances of survival will rapidly diminish. As Xander waits in panic and confusion, desperate for answers, a mysterious envelope arrives at the hospital addressed to him. Inside is a message, simple and brutal: Sarah's life is in your hands. If you want the antidote, you'll give up your claim to Titan. Walk away from the company, or watch her die. You have 24 hours. P. Phillip's master plan. Phillip Kyriakis has always lived in the shadow of his father, Victor, and struggled with the pressure of living up to the Kyriakis' legacy. Now, with Victor gone, the battle for Titan's control has reached a boiling point. Phillip sees himself as the rightful heir. But Xander, unpredictable and aggressive, has clawed his way into a position of influence and has threatened to take the company in a direction Phillip detests. Unable to beat Xander in the boardroom, Phillip turns to something far darker, a method not of corporate strategy, but of cold, calculated manipulation. By targeting Sarah, the woman Xander loves most, Phillip knows exactly where to strike. This isn't just about revenge or ambition. It's about control. Phillip wants the Titan Empire. And he's willing to kill for it. Xander's impossible choice. For Xander, the situation is unbearable. On one hand, Titan represents everything he's worked for. After years of being dismissed as the family's thug or outcast, he's finally earned his place in the business. Surrendering it now means giving up everything he's built, everything he's fought to prove. On the other hand, there's Sarah, his partner, his love, and the mother of his child. Her life is slipping away, and the only person who can save her is the same man who orchestrated this nightmare. It's a cruel trap, designed to break Xander's spirit. He storms into the Kiriakis' mansion, confronting Phillip face to face. But Phillip remains cold, calm, and unflinching. You want the antidote? Then sign the papers. Renounce your claim to Titan. Walk away, for good. A legacy in the balance. The decision isn't just about business. It's about identity. For years, the Kiriakis family has been torn by infighting, betrayals, and power plays. But this moment could define a new chapter. If Xander gives in, he saves Sarah, but Phillip wins. He sets the precedent that violence and blackmail are acceptable tools of leadership in the Kiriakis' world. If Xander refuses, he risks Sarah's life. Something his conscience may never recover from. Meanwhile, other members of the family begin to take notice. Maggie, torn between her loyalty to both men, pleads with Phillip to stop this madness. But he's too far gone. In his mind, this isn't cruelty, it's justice. Phillip sees Xander as a threat to Titan's future, a brute unworthy of leadership. Poisoning Sarah wasn't personal. It was strategic. What comes next? With the clock ticking and Sarah growing weaker by the hour, Xander is forced to make a decision. Will he sign away his stake in Titan? Or will he call Phillip's bluff and fight to save both his love and his legacy? Whispers swirl in Salem that Xander might turn the tables, launching a secret plan of his own to outsmart Phillip and save Sarah without giving up Titan. But time is not on his side, and Phillip has planned every move carefully. One thing is certain. After this, nothing will ever be the same between them. Stay tuned to Days of Our Lives as this high-stakes battle unfolds. In Salem, power always comes with a price, and sometimes, that price is paid in blood.